got to be rock solid on the defense. And I think given the chance to have a second go at it, even starting down one game here, I think this is definitely within his grasp. Up here in the top left-hand side, representing a Mind Freak. Oh, do we do it? Do we finish the intro? Or do the casters get paused as well? We'll finish it in a moment. As just a quick pause there from EnDerr, no doubt a certain setting or a hotkey that reset itself, something like that. And of course, he is representing a Mind Freak SC2, the Red Terran. He wants to bring it back and show he's the real boss of the region. It is Seither.
The intro's been going so long that the music loop ended. And in the bottom right here, getting that winner's map advantage because he done so well in this tournament so far. It is the Liab Esports Zerg representing the Philippines. This is EnDerr.
Man. He's bringing out that hoodie again.
Yeah.
You know, he had the old Mineski jersey on a few days ago.
Oh, yeah, Mineski. I remember that.
The old one, I think. And obviously was just wearing whatever he was around the house. But now, I don't know. I wonder if that's a Liab Esports hoodie. Whatever it is, it's a cool hoodie. It's a big one.
Yeah.
It gives him, you know, Darth Maul powers, you know, some Sith powers in there. He's got his dark energies rolling, and I really am a big EnDerr fan. As much as I predicted Seither to win this series, and I'm on that hype train a little bit, and I want to see him turn things around. Part of me wants to see Seither do everything right to adapt from the first series, and then EnDerr just navigate those waters and win anyway, because it would be so cool. It's already been such a hype story following him this season, and all of my earlier preconceptions about EnDerr's abilities and where his failings lie, he's kind of made most of them just turn out to be false. He said, no, I've evolved past that. Any past you know, box you thought you could put me in, I'm past that these days, and I'm doing better than ever. It is yet again a pool first opening, but no Zerglings. So this is cool. I like this change up from EnDerr. I was talking about, hey, you're expecting 6 Lings coming across the map here. I wonder if Seither knows the timing well enough to know they couldn't have left the base yet. Looks like he's going to play it very safe anyway.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. The Marine just going to force back this Broverlord and that natural back. The Overlord should... Actually, it may die here. It's going to be pretty low.
You just cursed it, may not. It's going to survive with like 2 hit points.
Oh, no. I lift the barracks at this point. That thing's too low to let it get away. No, it's personal at this point with that Overlord.
You can lift the command center when it finishes. You'll lose about like 12 seconds. Lifting it, moving it over, moving it back. You might bother doing that here as Seither. Let's see. Yeah. You guys are both Terran players at heart, mate.
Terran. We're a sensitive breed, all right? Like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that to me. Not to me. Here come the Lings from EnDerr. The Reaper sees them, actually. The Reaper's in trouble. At least he gives him early warning and also a little bit of time nibbling the Reaper and not nibbling his SCVs.
Yeah, I mean, good wall off though there by Seither. I like that he gets that up so quickly, and the reactor being behind the wall. It's almost like he prepared this so that his barracks wasn't lifting off and swapping with the factory and leaving the wall open at that time, right? He swapped it off ahead and walled off the front with the barracks. So I actually think Seither here was aware that there might have been a very small gap in the timing. He's even building Marauders. So I think he's preparing for his own counterattack. Hellbats and, yeah, Concussive. We're going to see a medevac after that first Viking, and Armory's going to go down about the next 10-15 seconds here. Keep an eye behind that main mineral line because Seither is going to go for a very big counterattack.
Yeah, there's the old TY Hellbat Marauder medevac trick here. Very, very, very solid at just dispatching Zerg at the beginning of the game. We saw it a lot in the global finals a while back. Medevac starts up here. There's that Armory. Now, Roach Warren going down here for EnDerr as well as Overlord Speed. He's putting a fair few resources into scouting here. He's really worried about what Seither's follow-up is, as he should be. But does he actually have what he needs to hold on here? I mean, he has the tech to do it. Is he droning too much is, I guess, the next answer. As we keep an eye on that production tab, Terran getting closer and closer to starting off that attack.
Oh, this is actually terrible, I think, for Seither. He maybe gets in here fast enough, but I don't think he will. So the reason this is so bad is I feel like he's going to be hitting just as pre-planned Roaches are building for EnDerr's own attack. So if you're both going for attacks, usually it's the one who moves into the enemy's territory and lets all their units get the defender's advantage, that's at the disadvantage. Now, the Roaches started a little later than expected, but I still think they're all going to pop out, naturally surround this push, and shut it down. There's only 3 Queens, but 8 Roaches on the way is going to be a great start to the defense. The Marauders here, can they separate them and pick them off individually? Queens out in the open.
All EnDerr needs to do is hold on here. He has a bit of counterattack over there as well, so Seither's not going to get this done for free. His natural being poked by the Zerg. It's like EnDerr actually pulls everything back as he finds a couple of Hellions. These Hellbats picking up a couple of Queens here. The Roaches as well.
The Medevac went down, though. That's huge. Like, the Queens have fallen. Not a bad trade here for Seither. In fact, the Marauder did a great job. One Marauder has fallen, though. Drones, you do not have a big drone count right now. Uh-oh, EnDerr's Roaches just weren't quite ready. Oh, he's taking a bunch of drone losses. He go down, does take a floor, finally hangs on and defends. The Zerglings on the other side of the map right now. They're damaging some depots. The counterattack's going to swing in. Oh gosh, there's a Viking in the base and there's almost no anti-air. This is such a messy situation. Finally, EnDerr's one Queen is going to clean up that Viking. He's gathering up on the front. He's continuing to commit to pure Ravager Zergling. This is going to be a huge counter swing. What is there to defend it? 2 Hellions, a Marauder, a Liberator. Oh, those aren't what you want.
Yeah, Seither getting a bit of a misread here, starting Hellbats right now. He's trying to get a bunch of production up. Needs to wall off the main. I think you got to give up the natural completely and just take the 12 SCV losses. Like, there is just no saving these workers here. You bring that depot down, you are dead. Oh, we got the vials going down on that Liberator as well, so he gets a few shots off, but of course the Lings are the part that Seither is so scared of, and EnDerr with way too much brings a sigh of relief as his counterattack just really smashes Seither way too hard for him to recover.
A lovely game one there for EnDerr. Pushes himself forward to the 2-0 advantage in this series, of course. This is the grand finals of the Oceania and rest of Asia region. EnDerr has made it here to these grand finals without dropping a series. He has defeated, of course, Seither yesterday in a 3-2. That gives him the 1-0 advantage in this grand finals. And you know what? It was just done flawlessly. It's kind of what we mentioned somewhat expecting, but with little twists. This was not entirely predictable. There were no early Zerglings off the pool first, right? It was the 10 Zerglings, but only when Zergling speed finished. There was no Zerglings trying to run around the map like he's done a few times before. He did here, though, clearly was planning to go for the Ravager Ling attack. I think the Hellbats, amazing if you get in there 20 seconds earlier. Amazing if you hit against a 2-base muta follow-up. And probably one of the worst choices against this specific follow-up from EnDerr. So you could call this a build order loss, but also something where I think maybe Seither mind-gamed himself a little bit. It feels like he just was not expecting the Roaches out of EnDerr.
I mean, definitely not. I feel like you don't see a 3rd CC, or if you do, you at least don't see those 4 barracks going down. You don't see the factory leave the reactor. You see a much different response from Seither. So a misread, certainly, on what the counterattack of the Zerg would look like, if there would be one at all. And those Lings attacking into his natural, maybe just thought that they were just the remnants of an attempt at a counterattack. Didn't expect a full commitment, which EnDerr, of course, did do. Finds himself actually on 2-0 here, as he already has a map lead. Plenty more StarCraft to go, though. And when we come back from the break, more StarCraft. So don't go away. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back. We are getting amongst our next map here for the grand finale between EnDerr and Seither, with EnDerr currently on 2 map wins, having only played 1, but with the map advantage from winning the winners bracket grand final. Filipino Zerg already starting things off quite strong, Pig, with a little bit of a mind game, a little bit of a little bit of 1-2 punch. And that's kind of what we expected from him here. He is a ninja. You know, if we had to choose a class of warrior for EnDerr, you know, Seither maybe a little bit more of a wizard, a warlock, a sorcerer, if you will, but EnDerr certainly a high dexterity rogue or ninja of some variety.
Well, you know, rogues sometimes don't seem that powerful, and warlocks and wizards and sorcerers seem very powerful, but when you just sneak up behind him and shank him in the back, which is basically the rogue's specialty, you can destroy them. And to be fair, man, EnDerr's agile, he's fast, he's smooth, he's fluid, and that's a great way to start off the series. You know, I think both players clearly wanted to take the fight to the other. Turned out that the attacks just washed up on this guy, though. He just defended perfectly, counterattacked, and won the game. Let's see if he can continue that pattern. In the bottom left, he is the Filipino monster, EnDerr.
And in the top right here from Mind Freak, the Terran Oceanic player, he is Seither.
Barracks gas opening there for Seither. And a hatchery first on 16 for EnDerr. So a bit of a reset towards the normal games. I do expect EnDerr here to go for a quick third base. You know, it could be 2 base muter, but I'm thinking more like that sort of go for the third, still get a reasonably quick lair somewhere, maybe not quite a 2.5 base spire, but something in that ballpark, you know. Definitely going to open up the tech a little bit earlier and work his way forwards from there. We've seen that EnDerr not really necessarily a masser of the queens and that sort of thing, but someone where he's going to scout really well. He's going to use Zergling Baneling, and he loves to get that spire up.
Yeah, he certainly does. Of course, it is rather hatchery first for this time for EnDerr. He's been showing pull first more often than not, I feel. Like, you know, similar to his ZVT win rate, 67% of the time. Works every time. Sorry, 62 for EnDerr. It was 67 for Sheldon.
That is in fact correct. Yes, a good win rate, not quite above the 2-to-1 mark just yet, but getting there. And the SCV comes in. Is Seither going to try and block the third, cause a bit of a disruption? I feel like EnDerr, oh my, he's building Zerglings Maynard.
Wow, what is this, a regular Zerg?
Normally, for those who've never watched EnDerr play, hatch first, he never builds Zerglings, and he just accepts the Reaper, lets it come in, does 3, sometimes 4 Spore Crawler and Extractor-Trix to save his drones. And he says, well, you know, I've got 2 more drones than normal because I didn't build these 4-lings. Haha, it's great. I mean, it's always been one of those things where I'm like, I feel like it's technically not the most amazing, but if the Terran's a little sloppy with their Reaper, he does come out on head. But giving a lot of respect to Seither, says, let's not give you any momentum here. Build the 4 Zerglings. We'll sacrifice one of those, but that way no drones go down. A bit more of a comfortable opening. Interestingly, it's pulled only 1 worker off gas. Going straight up to 4 queens. Definitely looks like it could be that Overlord speed or quick lair. One of those is going to kick in the moment one of those queens pops. Knowing EnDerr, yeah, I'd say quick lair and then moving down to take his third base somewhere maybe 3:34 minutes.
Yeah, I'm feeling lair as well. So just waiting for that queen to finish up, and of course, when the lair is, well, rather than hatchery is free and clear, he's good to go. Apparently, it is reasonably cold in the Philippines, so that might be why my EnDerr's going for the pulled up hood strats here, not just channeling, you know, the dark side of the Force, but also trying to remain warm.
I'm not sure where he lives, but in Manila, it is currently 27 degrees Celsius with 92% humidity, Maynard. So
I saw someone in chat say that that's cold, but
maybe it is. Maybe it's normally so hot.
If they're from the Philippines and they're like, dude, 27, it's winter, man. This is so, you know, God, we're freezing over here. We gotta rug up. Yeah, the fast layer does go down, but see the scouts it.
Yeah, good scout there by Seither, who's going for the quick third command center. Yeah, this is the 3CC 211. As is the a very, you know, just basically saying, I am both going to defend with Hellions, then we're going to get up a lot of Marines and Medevacs to pressure you, while also having the fastest possible third base landed on location. And you know what? The Overlord does come in. It sees the stim on the way and may be able to figure out the rest there. Does not see the exact building situation. But an Evo Chamber and a Roach Warren here for EnDerr. Big Roach busts can work against this style. That third base is on location so early. If you go for, say, a quick Carapace, Big Ravager Link can be awesome. And range can work as well. Does give the Roaches a bit more killing power.
True, true, true. Roaches are one of those things where they're good for a while, but they start to fall off from the mid to late game when the Terran starts to get a lot more tanks up, a lot more Marines up. Seither, if you give an excuse to play Marine tank, he'll be more than happy to do that. And he's actually switching over to get the reactor on the factory here, so maybe expecting this fast lair to equal Spire. So just trying to prepare for something a little bit more down that path rather than the Roach Ravager.
Yeah, people like to go Widow Mines and just get that Marine Mine Parade going. Only 43 drones for EnDerr and just committing everything. Even Zerglings coming in here already. I'm actually surprised he's building Zerglings already. I feel like he's going to need a lot more Roaches at the beginnings of this. Now, I'm not sure. Maybe he got a misread on this build order. Zergling's going to go across the map. Roaches still gathering up at home. EnDerr battling with his supply a little bit there. Just squeezing his Overlords out a few at a time. The third is landed for Seither. Seither's building missile turrets right now. Oh, he has no idea what he's up against. Seither has just, he's kind of operating under false conceptions. He does not realize the situation he's in.
Yep, EnDerr is selling in the story of Spire play. Fast Spire play on 2 bases, potentially even Nidus Worm, something like that. See, the one thing that this is not what Seither's prepared for. He's prepared for a lot of Lings, a lot of Banes, potentially Mutas, and that is it. A lot of Roach Ravager is almost exactly what the Zerg wants in the situation against the Terran. You know, enough bio can fight this back. I think you can, if you're Seither and you're really quick and you catch early wind of this, you can lift up the third, save some SCVs, and pull back into the natural and muster up a defense. But, I mean, if the attack's coming at the third and you have to react this quickly with all your army out of position, it's very tough as a Terran at this point.
No, he's just going to die. He has no idea this is coming. The Ling Ravager comes in, a quick pickup. He can save the Marines, raise his wall. He's going to try to build bunkers. You can't get those up. He's already breaking your wall down. That is 10 Ravagers, 8 Roaches with +1 in Roach speed, and 36 Zerglings. The Marines are going to try to hold the ramp. That is their best chance. If they can hold on top of the ramp, that is the position they may be able to hang on to. 10 SCVs have already fallen. I think EnDerr needs to stay on the low ground, take out the natural in the third. Oh, the engineering base, Maynard!
Yeah, getting them is really, really nice. I do feel like there is a world where Seither holds here. He's got 22 Marines, heading towards 25 here with Stim, with Combat Shield and Medevac support. So he has an army that can actually take this fight if he comes up that ramp, of course. The choke point should not be broken. Third base is still exposed, going to save the SCVs in the Medevacs, at least as many as he can, and just muster up that defense. Now, Seither, of course, is behind in workers here. EnDerr is droning behind this, realizing the game isn't going to quite end here, but certainly upset the flow of Seither in this game.
Yeah, I mean, upset the flow. How about take the flow, snap it in half, and throw it in the sewerage? That was... you know, I think if he goes up that ramp, absolutely Seither's in this game in a big way. I think he can take a crazy fight. As long as EnDerr doesn't headbutt into that ball of Stim Marines, it just keeps picking away the edges and says, come to me, come fight me in the open. I mean, EnDerr can keep scaring him for the next few minutes, can keep him off the third. Behind this, the best transition you could do behind this sort of build. Bane speed, 1-1 upgrades. I wouldn't mind seeing a Spire as well, and a fourth base definitely needs to be going down. As I said, he drops it. EnDerr's ahead of the curve. He's got the creep everywhere. He's like, yeah, you're stuck on 2 base. I'm on 3 going on to 4. I'm massing Ling Bane, and I reset upgrade. So I've actually got the upgrade lead after that as well. I mean, so many big pickoffs in that push. 14 SCVs doesn't sound like a lot, but when you force both bases to lift and you take out the upgrades in about 10 depots, it's a massive lead for EnDerr.
Yeah, because certainly he's ahead in pretty much every single way here, for sure. He's got himself a contain here on Seither. The third base of Seither's kind of flying in the sky because there's not really anything he can do about it. It's like he just hotkeyed his stuff there back at home, but it is breaking off the medevac to the left side to try and hit back against EnDerr. He's on his way to having Baneling speed, a good number of Banes, and with 1-1 melee, those Lings and Banes are going to be quite powerful. Now, Seither actually breaks off the medevac here. I think that has, okay, just the Hellions inside of it. So double medevac play from Seither on both sides of the map.
He's got to be very patient, does Seither, to get back in this game. 4 barracks production, double engineering base slowly trying to catch him up in the upgrades. He's going to try to creep out to a third base in the near future. But He's looking for this Hellions and that Marine drop to try to do something. He's got to equalize the economy, but this is the problem. Seither is going to try and play late game. He's going to try and do it from so far behind, though. Double Liberator comes out and is spotted. Hellions find absolutely nothing. The drop goes in towards the main base. Is he finally going to find EnDerr asleep? No. 2 Spore Crawlers, a bunch of Banelings. EnDerr is prepared on every front now. Marines are going to poke out.
Yeah, not too many tanks here from Seither, but a good Marine count. You know, don't really need Marauders when you have this many Marines against primarily Ravagers and Lings. You have to be worried about Speed Banes, though. Speed Bane is done here, because Hooks is done for EnDerr.
Oh, big Biles on the front. He tried to move down, but Seither wasn't looking, and he took massive Biles to his army.
Yeah, we just missed that. I mean, damn, that was rough for Seither. He needs to every unit he can to try and force this army of EnDerr back. I mean, EnDerr, 74 workers. He's got his whole side of the map. He's spreading creep as well. Liberator's coming forward here from Seither. He's trying to do something on this side of the map, but it feels like EnDerr's locked down too tight here.
Yeah, not really finding anything just yet. The Liberator's coming in the back. One of them went down behind the third base just there with no worker kills. The one behind the main siege is up. And not really finding anything. EnDerr's all over it.
And he's got 11 meters coming up. I mean, things are about to go from bad to worse here for Seither. He's been super hyper-focused on getting his ground army as big as possible, getting an anti-Roach Ravager Ling Bane army as quickly as possible. I mean, it is okay against Mutalisks, of course, but the problem is, like, what are you looking at back at home? Is this going to be one of those situations where EnDerr has, you know, 15, 16 Mutalisks, just flies through a single turret and kills every SCV? I feel like it might be the case here. Sees the Mutas at least, but, I mean, how do you react to Seither comfortably? He's floating a bit of cash here at the moment, actually. A little bit of a supply cap, but, yeah, I mean, this is just a rough situation. Floundering a little bit is our Terran friend.
Oh, mass mule drop into the Mutas. The Mutas not able to finish them, though. As those Mutalisks rotate in. Gonna pick off a few depots. Free damage here. Maxed out Zerg player, by the way, up against a 56 SCV Terran who is just really crippled. And look at that, a beautiful engage. All the bio not there supporting. The Mutas clean up the libs. The tanks go down to the ground army. And this is an absolute rout. EnDerr just crushing this series so far.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's nearly 50. In fact, he is over 50 army supply up on the Terran, who just doesn't have a convincing splash damage anymore. No Widowmines for the Ling Bane. Not many tanks at all for these Ravagers. And EnDerr is just going to break him one more time here. Seither having such a tough time in this rematch. And EnDerr, he's on match point.
Barely even breaking a sweat. You can see his face there. Just takes a sip of his water. Business as usual there for EnDerr. This is the new EnDerr we're used to seeing.
It's only 27 degrees for EnDerr, so it is quite chilly. So you wouldn't break a sweat in this weather, pig.
That is true. If I was in 27 degrees, 92% humidity, oh my gosh. If I was not in aircon, Maynard, I would be a swamp of a human. And EnDerr there, though, cool as a cucumber, calm as ever. He's doing really well. I think that was a cool style. Let's go Roaches. Let's get a big Ravager Ling timing prepared. And Seither really thought he was up against 2 base Muta. Definitely made a few assumptions. Should have dropped a scan or 2. I mean, there were Widowmines going to burrow in his main next to his missile turrets. When you're getting Ravager Ling all in, like, oh, that's so nasty. That's so unfortunate for him.
And how do you keep up with a Zerg that just manages to mind game you so well and just counter your build so well? Like, it's almost... it's not quite there, but it's like almost a build order win from EnDerr with that first attack, just because of how unprepared Seither was for it and just how he just didn't have that information. Look at the situation. He's got a ball of Marines out here, 1 turret, and a few Hellions in his middle line. He's like, oh, Ravagers. Right, that is a thing a Zerg can do. Like, what do you do as a Terran? Like, do you just scan more? Do you scan in a certain minute just to, like, because this guy's going to play tech shift bingo on you.
Yeah, I think you need to move out a minute earlier with that double drop. I think he was playing so defensively and so assumptive. Like, this wasn't just standard play from Seither. This was standard turtle play from Seither under the assumption that he was playing against Mutalisks. He needed to go out there with his Hellions. He needed to get out there with his double drop. If he wasn't going to do either of those, he needed some scans to confirm what he was up against. And as we see, EnDerr just got massive damage with the first attack, did not get too greedy, did not try to run up the ramp to the high ground. You try to run up that ramp and he would have been dead, but instead he just took the advantage and built up this unstoppable army.
And he would not be stopped. You're quite right, Pig. Completely unstoppable here. EnDerr just cannot be slowed down by Seither at the moment in the series. I mean, there was a moment, I feel like, on Submarine where Seither was looking pretty good. But, you know, it has been primarily EnDerr in this series so far. There's never really been a threat from the Terran to fight back. Like, maybe that one moment on Submarine, but then Seither was like, okay, time to get a third base, time to make 4 more barracks. And it was unfortunately the wrong call. It was just exactly not what he needed to do at that particular moment. It's just been unfortunate, actually, like a series of unfortunate events for Seither.
A series of unfortunate events, you know what? And he's going to have to take ownership of them. He's going to have to really dig deep and just find that Super Saiyan energy. And I do think of Seither as someone who's capable of it, but does not have a large history of it. If we think of Seither, is he one of the best in the region? Yes, but I think about Probe. I think about, you know, in the old days, some of the other guys like a Moonglade or someone. I think of someone like a King Kong, maybe even a riskier someone who could dig deep and do a reversal in a series. Seither hasn't done that as much as some of those. But at the same time, I think, you know, every moment is a chance to redefine yourself as a player. And when you're just getting out-strategized, you're getting surprised, you can't get your finger on the build, this is the moment where Seither needs to show not just the skill that we know he has, he needs to show the grit, the determination, and the ability to just say, you know what, destiny is in my hands. I have to give it my all. I need to not play afraid. I cannot be sitting in my corner of the map making assumptions like in that last game. I've got to get out there. I've got to dictate the pace, or this man is gonna run away with it. That is right. He is so close to victory. 1 game away from a clean sweep grand finals and a spot in the season finals for the Winter DreamHack Masters. The Filipino champion back at his best. He wants to take it to the top. He's up 3-0. He needs 1 more. It is EnDerr.
And in the bottom right here from Mind Freak, the Oceanic Terran, struggling in the series so far. He needs to win 4 maps in a row to represent this region in the season finals and get the big money, get the big points. It is Seither. Yeah, rough series so far. It really feels like Seither, like quite a few Terrans actually, he's one of those players that plays the matchup rather than playing the player. You know what I mean? Or rather, he has been doing that so far. You can play TVZ, and no doubt Seither's TVZ is pretty amazing when he plays it on ladder normally. Like, his builds are, you know, they're not outdated. They're quite meta. They're quite strong. They're quite good against your quote-unquote regular Zerg. But EnDerr is not your regular Zerg. You know, if you're going, you know, if you're not scouting early against someone like Bly, or you're not keeping on the toes of what tech's going down against someone like EnDerr, you are just going to die, as they will be that Zerg that is a little bit more tricky. And you can't just expect them to get that, you know, oh, they're going to go 2.5 minute third, then they're gonna, you know, maybe, you know, they're going to get that Spire, it's going to be littling Bane, and, you know, I can get a third CC here, and I'll be fine because they won't attack me. They attack later. It's like, no, EnDerr can attack at any point, any time. You need to be ready for it. It's like, it's easier said than done, of course, you know.
Absolutely. Got to keep some information out there. You were talking about it at the start of the series. Before we even started, Maynard, you said he's got to scout and figure out what's coming. That last game was the antithesis of that. It was you know, the antithesis, sorry. The antithesis. It was just one of those things where he saw no third on time, and he didn't have a lot of scouting past that, and he made a big assumption. That is something which got punished in a big way, and now the Reaper coming in, picking off a few drones. Woo! Nice Spore Crawler tricks from EnDerr. Is skipping the Zerglings move. It's so bizarre. It's so odd to see. He loves doing it.
Yeah, and this does cost him money, but as you've mentioned before, the plus side of this is that you do have those extra couple drones. You don't spend that 2 lava on the links.
Oh, Revenge of the Drone! Yeah!
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh! Okay. If the drone got that Reaper, I'm like, this is a very sad series for Terran.
Oh, that's that's GG. Like, there is, you don't stay in that. If a drone kills your Reaper like that, oh, I mean, you've just got to throw in the towel and change race. Like, you got to stop representing Terrans after this. But it does get the drone kill. A bit of a mistake from EnDerr there, as comical as it was. Lots of Zerglings coming out here.
Yeah, a lot of Zerglings. This is, I mean, EnDerr normally does go for a bit of a Ling swell and attacks the natural at this point, but this is more than I remember EnDerr making normally. Like, this is over 10 Lings here.
Yeah, a bit of a bigger one. The Italian's going to need to be well positioned there. Now, seeing not that many drones, the Reaper comes in, gets 1 more kill. And the Hellions are out as long as they pull up the ramp.
Whoa.
Oh.
They're up the ramp. They can wall off here and get the rest of the Lings out of the main base. Actually, good control from Seither so far. Actually, quite nice defense, actually.
Oh, he's got to watch out. Nice little wrap around there. EnDerr sends some up the ramp to the high ground, some behind the natural. He's looking for that surround on the Hellions, or at least a few SCV kills so far. Not a lot of damage happening, just a big distraction. And, ooh, good micro by Seither. In the end, does not lose too many SCVs, only 3 in total.
Yeah, very nice defense from Seither, in fact. And he did go for a 3cc here, which is bonkers to me considering the first few games in the series, but he is going 3cc into the Banshee. I like the Banshee a lot because of EnDerr's prevalence to go for that big aggressive follow-up. We're actually seeing a lot more Lings here. The Roach won't go down, of course, spores as well from EnDerr. So it really is a Zerg at this moment. As long as you have the lava and the money, you can switch. You can just go, oh, I'm just going to drone here, or you can hold that R button and go for a big committal. So it really is dependent on what the Terran does, as EnDerr is such a mind-gamey reactive player.
Indeed. Are going to see those Zerglings work on the rocks just a little bit. Cloaked Banshees coming out. Sorry, excuse that. Cloakless Banshee coming out. Cloak was cancelled there. And is actually going for the second and third barracks. Going to work up into bio play. There's a lot of Hellions out, but there's no defense at home. So if they leave, that would be a huge mistake for Seither. The Hellions have to stay at home. Now his wall-off is up. So I guess he's going to risk leaving, but those Zerglings ready to punish. EnDerr comes in, just 2 Zerglings to start. Nicely done.
Yep. Once again, Seither looking all right here. Oh, drop a Lord from EnDerr. He's going to try and ferry some Lings into the main here. Or is that for the Queens back at home? No, it is the drop a Lord next to the main base. Hellions finding that third hatchery, though. The drone's not with too much to defend. Seither hitting back here. This
is no defense here for EnDerr, and that is a crazy move. EnDerr does sometimes have this issue where he doesn't see the units move across the map. He doesn't leave those Ling spotters out there. He's going to try and answer with a Zergling drop, but there's just no way it can find this much damage. This is huge. Potentially game-ending damage from these Hellions.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 Hellions are still alive, which means leads me to believe game-ending might be the right call there, Pig. The Hellions are still alive in the main base, killing more drones. 26 have died. In come the Lings, finally, from EnDerr. He's killed 6 SCVs. Might get a couple more here, but the Marines on the tank coming up to the high ground. Once the Lings are ejected out of his main, Seither is going to enjoy a lovely economic lead here. His third base is still alive as well, even though it's being nibbled on.
Indeed, does end up rejecting that push. Is into 3 barracks bio, production double eBay, upgrading, and getting back to mining. 43 SCVs versus 35 drones, 3 command centers. 1-1 upgrades are on the way for EnDerr, but he rushed those obscenely fast. This was like 4-minute 30, 445 Evo chambers after doing a Ling Flood. He's prioritizing far too much gas mining right now as well. EnDerr's build is looking a little bit half-baked in this game. I think he felt like he had this psychological momentum. He could get away with doing a lot of things at once. And Seither here staying solid is finally managing to get a bit of ground in this series.
And he's locking things down against this Overlord drop as well, which does not have Overlord speed. It's going to die here. That's money, more money down the toilet there for EnDerr. Yes, he got half a dozen SCVs. Actually, maybe just less than that. But Seither is solidifying. He's starting to take a big power spike here. EnDerr droning up quite a lot. But, you know, when you're a Zerg, you're going 1-1 upgrades, which means you're dedicating yourself to Roach Ravager, and you're skipping the Baneling Nest. I feel like that's suicidal sometimes against a Terran that's going Marine tank. Like, you just need to have Banes. Melee upgrades to me feel so much more important than going into Roach Ravager here at this point of the game. When the Terran's taking this little damage, you know they're going to have a big army in a minute.
Yeah, Terran's taking little damage and Zerg's committed to a lot of damage while taking big damage. This is like, when you're even, it's a bit dicey, right? Going for the Roach Ravager against the bio. When you're behind, and you're very behind like EnDerr is in this game, I got to agree with you. I mean, maybe if you add some Infestors to it, you need something that's a comeback unit, right? Banelings, Infestors, there's got to be some splash damage. Roach Ravager on its own will get overpowered by well-upgraded bio in good enough numbers. So, you add a few tanks behind that, it's a really tough matchup for the Zerg. EnDerr's going to try to hang on. He's got his 3 bases of workers up. Definitely Ravagers can try to slow down the advance of a push. But 4th command center is on the way. 2-2 has been forgotten for a little while here. There we go. See, this +2 starts up. Doesn't have the gas for the +2 armor. But nonetheless, a gigantic army up against a handful of Roaches and Ravagers. Seither honestly could stim straight in there. He doesn't even need to siege these tanks.
No, you could box your army, F2A stim, and go make a coffee here, and just A-click on the main base of the Zerg. I don't think that EnDerr can stop this. Even the greatest micro ever, his Baneling nest is only halfway done, and Banelings were needed yesterday to stop this push. In come the Ravagers and the Roaches, dropping some biles, not really connecting with anything there. The Marines getting very deep. Oh, Seither showing maybe a little bit of overconfidence as he eats a couple biles on those Marines.
Does choose to pull back. He says, okay, Mass Roach Ravager, let me defend my third. I got to be worried about getting pushed. And oh, he actually gets caught. EnDerr here with an ambush. EnDerr's army is not that big, but he's acting like it's much bigger than he is. He's really puffing out his feathers.
Up his feathers, yeah.
Yeah, he's putting out his chest, beating it. Oh, this is my territory, mate. Be afraid. And honestly, Seither's respecting it, which I like. But EnDerr needs so much time. He's trying to get up a fourth, trying to swap back into Banelings. He needs to buy a drastic amount of room for him to get back into this game.
Yeah, and I really like this supply depot funnel that Seither's making for himself. You see a lot of Korean Terrans do this now, and European Terrans as well. Create themselves like a little bit of funnel, so if the Lings just A-click on the base, you just deny surface area. You can have a little meat grinder in the middle of all those depots, and Lings and Banes just don't find as much efficacy in that situation. Fourth base is here for Seither, about to turn it into a planetary. This is just strength to strength here for the Terran as he gets towards his 2-2 upgrades. And +2 Carapace is on the way here for EnDerr. He still hasn't made a decision on the attack upgrades. He's going to go for the melee here rather than for the range +2. Starts his infestation pit. Big round of drones, but again, Seither just continuing to get stronger and stronger. His army's about to have another big power spike.
Masses of bio tanks. 7 tanks, 46 Marines, 2 Marauders, and 7 Medevacs. 2-2 upgrades are about to kick in, and of course 3 more tech labs on extra barracks finishing in just a moment. That means mass concussive shell Marauders is the next little piece of the puzzle, adding tankiness, anti-roach firepower, and just general, you know, great flexibility into the Ultralisk stage of the game. Drilling claws being added in on the extra factories as well, and it's time for Seither to start pushing. This is a gigantic army. Now, EnDerr's done a good job of catching up. He's in 75 workers, but he's down 30 army supply. He's trying to make Banelings to reinforce. He's got to find a way to slow this down and then surround and crush this army. If he can defend this push, EnDerr is back in the game.
Dropping the main base, not being looked at for Seither. It takes a fair bit of damage on that, pulls it back. Big push to the south side here where the 4th base of the Zerg is. Trading nicely against those Banelings. He is deep on creep against that scan, though. Creep will slowly recede, and these units are nicely spread as the tanks siege up. This is now in range of this hatchery, so EnDerr is on the clock here to try and defend this base.
I think he's got to give it up. I think just pulling back, giving it up, cut off the reinforce, maybe look for a counterattack. He's going to go for it. A big spread. That's a lot of Banelings.
The Banelings get through the bio there. EnDerr looks like he's going to clean this up. The left side does have a few units in those medevacs, but some of the medevacs die as well. 11 drones worth of damage. Not bad here for Seither, of course. The medevac still alive. Potentially more drone damage as those units unload in the natural. Another push on the right side. Seither also bringing the medevacs down to the south. Oh, full medevac does get picked off by the Queens.
Oh, bio stimming back in on the 3rd base. Just a few units. They do get caught by the Ling Bane. Drop on the north as well, or not even a drop, but a droppy run by. It does snipe that 5th base. Not a bad little trade there for Seither. But you know what? EnDerr survived the big push. He kept the base alive. These are all things that are making me believe in EnDerr at this point. Seither's on 4 bases. He's building a 5th. He's still working his way ahead in the upgrades. He's got a good barracks count. I think if he just does one more frontal push now, he should be fine. EnDerr still needs to really just distract. He needs to pull attention away from his side of the map.
Yeah, he should be fine. I mean, I get a little bit worried when I see that Spire go down. It's been so strong for EnDerr in all of his series so far in DreamHack Winter. Top right is being attacked here by the Zerg. That's the 5th base for the Terran. Seither going to try and make a hold here. I think he might have to just accept some damage, lift it. Yeah, he does lift it. He's going to lose some SCVs, but that's okay. Command center surviving is the most important thing here, and most of the workers surviving, of course. Oh, gets a Ravager on the way out. Not bad, not bad. But yeah, this is a 5-base Terran against a barely 5-base Zerg. So economically, very nice for the Terran. He's 82 workers against 75 drones too. He's maxed. He's got a banker massing here. 3-3's about to finish. There is no Ultra Cavern yet. This is a good moment for Terran. His army is stronger, it's bigger, it's better. That will change in time, but can Seither make this happen right now?
There's only 13 Banelings on this map. 73 Zerglings will help. The Ravagers aren't here, though. They're all on the north of the map. Without the Ravagers here, it's hard to push back. And Seither, realizing it, just goes right in. He says, come and fight me, mate. I've got mass Widow Mines, lots of bio. The Blinding Clouds are actually quite incredible. A few of the Marines get taken down, but the mine hits answering in kind, and that Marauder spread so impossible for this low army of EnDerr, this low Zergling Baneling count to deal with. The Marauder count is just so meaty.
Yeah, tons of hit points and good upgrades as well. And over here as well, worst comes to worst there for EnDerr as he loses 31 drones and the hatchery soon to follow. Seither fights back, gets to play his game of StarCraft against EnDerr, gets a point on the board. And I really feel like that's what that game was. Seither finally had the game where he got to play his TVZ build against EnDerr without anything crazy, nothing super wild, upsetting his flow, apart from a Ling drop. But also, after finding that Hellion damage, you know, Seither was like, oh, I can win from this point. I just need to not get it over my head and throw everything away. We were getting worried when that tank push was kicking in at that 4th hatchery and he didn't kill a hatchery. That he got a really good, actually, EnDerr that is, got a really good cleanup on Seither's attack. I was getting a little bit worried, like, ooh, Seither, oh no. But then you look at the you know, all the numbers and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually fine for Seither. He just needs to take a breather, solidify the 4th base, keep the upgrades coming, keep production coming, and finally Seither actually had one of those games where he got to show off how good he is at the macro game. You know, that is a beautiful macro game there from Seither, and hopefully for his sake, that's a similar game 5 next year for him.
A necessary confidence booster for the Terran player, I think. There was, I do think he wishes he cleaned that up a little bit quicker, because the early game was spectacular. Remember, we started with 4 buildings being forced with this Reaper. So that's quite nice damage, but remember, he skipped Zergling, so he's got 2 more drones, fair enough. But then we saw a drone come out, try to fight him. It died. Reaper went back in, got another kill. Hellions defended flawlessly. About 15 Zerglings got cleaned up for just 3 SCVs. And behind it, I think it wasn't too bad. I think it was maybe a slight lead, but then EnDerr just went mega greedy, just absolutely crazy play. No defense. Hellion simply walked into the base and said, are you serious? There's no defense here? The couple of Zerglings he had were on the other side of the map, killing the 2 SCVs on his 3rd base, but he lost about 35 workers to those Hellions. From there was way, way behind, and I think Seither had a very easy macro game from here. So it's good because he's got his confidence under him. He got to play his game to some extent. On the other hand, after killing that many drones with the Hellion run by, I would have liked to see him be a bit more decisive. His first push on the 3rd base, I would have loved to see him just commit everything, get in there, kill that hatch. Remember, that was the fight where he sieged his tanks, spread them out, and then stimmed his bio way out of tank range and lost a lot of it. Ended up kind of picking up and running home. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody does make an engagement mistake here or there, but I think really Seither needs to take it up even another notch. If he gets that mid game even or ahead, he's got to clean it up a bit, because if EnDerr isn't so far behind, he's going to punish you massively for those small mistakes.
Yeah, EnDerr has shown time and time again that mistakes are something that you should not be making against this kid. And certainly if you make 1 or 2, you're not going to get away with it. We're going to take a short break though, guys. When we return though, game 5 between EnDerr and Seither. So do not go away. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back. I'm Maynard. With me is Pig, and we are getting into game number 5 here. The grand finale between EnDerr and Seither for the Oceanic bracket, Oceania/rest of Asia bracket here for Winter's Fall, or rather, so for DreamHack Masters Winter. It's literally said Winter's Fall, which sounds like a metal song. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is, but that's where I got confused. Been listening to metal a little bit earlier today.
Winter's Fall. Well, we're hoping it's not going to be Seither's Fall because we want to see more Zerg vs Terran games, and there is no chance of those later in Taiwan. There's no chance at all. We want to see more. We want to see Seither make that comeback. Personally, it looks like EnDerr still has momentum, but a point on the board. The beginnings of the comeback. It's a best of 7. First to 4 wins takes it out. The next map is going to be Oxide, and we really are going to see, can the Terran player adapt? Can he adjust? He may be better in a standard game, the most kind of common meta game, sure. Can he adapt to the wildness? Can he play this reactionary style? He needs to make adaptations, and he needs to make them fast. In the top right, representing Mind Freak, it is Seither.
And in the bottom left from Liab Esports, lest Lee forget, it is in fact match point for this young Filipino stud. In the bottom left, he is EnDerr. Full first opening again, by the way.
Served him well in the past, and going back to it, not a bad move at all. Remember, sometimes we see 6 Zerglings coming out, but earlier in this series, not a single one just used it to get an earlier Queen, an earlier Ling speed, and then does that little bit of a Ling flood to try to get some damage, cause some chaos. Always feels like it gives him a bit of momentum, messes the Terran's build up a little bit, and you know, I think Seither is a guy who is so detail-oriented, and if you give him that repeatability, he will just be so much better at optimizing tiny little details. But you've got to make his mind race. You've got to put the pressure on him, and that's exactly what EnDerr's done in this series. I don't think you can draw such a simple line as saying Seither's the better macro player and EnDerr's the more cheesy player. I think it's much more about one player is much more flexible, is used to both playing against more variability and doing more variable openings himself, is more about forcing reactions and adapting his own play to what his opponent's doing. That is EnDerr. Seither, on the other hand, I think if these players were just to sit there and calm down and EnDerr were to give him space, we'd see Seither separate himself just through the tiny details of efficiency. Little things. Like, Seither has really been obsessed with doing things like pulling mules off before they deliver the last minerals, with doubling up his SCVs to optimize their mining at the start of the game, which EnDerr hasn't done in a single game, hasn't actually been optimizing his drones at the start. He's focusing, though, on the strategy, on changing things up, adapting to his opponent, and as long as he keeps the action and the reactions going, it feels like Seither struggles to keep up with him.
Yeah, you're quite right. It's kind of likened to, say, and I can relate to this, when you're trying to speedrun a game, and you are so detail-orientated on taking a second off here, a second off there, and just optimizing here and there, but you can't finish the game. And it's like, well, it seems like the last part is pretty important, and that shaving a minute or two off of level 2 or level 3 of the speedrun, maybe less so. Maybe we should get the job done first, and then, you know, switch over into optimization. Of course, cutting corners is very important in StarCraft 2, but against someone like EnDerr, it's way more important to give up to things like he is going to base lair. Like, that is incredibly important, not whether or not your mule goes for one more trip.
Absolutely. It's all about value. It's not to say those little things aren't useful. They just aren't the absolute highest priority in every one of these moments. As first couple of Zerglings come in, they are the only Zerglings. I like this change up from EnDerr. And you know what? This is the sort of build order that Seither thought he was getting in game 1. When he answered it with a hellback push, he thought, yeah, you're going Lings into... Oh, no, never mind. Into two-base muter. He thought it was going to be two-base muter. I thought it was going to be two-base muter.
So did I. I saw the 3 gases go down. I'm like, these 3 gases...
Nidus, right? I'm thinking Nidus, yeah. Yeah,
when you go for this many gases, it's got to be, right? I mean, killing the Reaper here, now EnDerr can finally feel safe about getting the next phase of his tech. It could be a Roach Warren into the actual Spire, and he's mining too much gas for anything else.
That is correct. He has sometimes shown a Roach Warren into a Spire, but because this Roach Warren's in the back, to me, this smells like the worm. There's a drone moving out to take a 3rd base, but even that could be a fake. And as I say it, Spire goes down anyway. Okay, EnDerr. Oh, he's hard to read. He's a wily one. Hellions are here, though.
Oh, hello, Spire. Now the Hellions do get drone damage and a scout here, so a double whammy, a double feature for Seither. EnDerr with not enough units. Good block on this Queen's left side, but too much drone damage. He's not happy about this at all.
That's 11 workers, yeah. You do not want to be taking that damage. EnDerr's trying to cut corners here. And remember, Seither was getting surprised earlier in this series. You're like, man, how does he scout this? Does he need to be dropping scans? Part of it is just sometimes you just need to push your way in a little bit deeper and just check your opponent built the normal defense. And sometimes you're going to catch them not. As this series has gone on, EnDerr has been more and more cavalier about defending early Hellions. And because of this, Seither's finding damage just with basic Hellion pressures that EnDerr keeps thinking he can get away with not defending against. So twice now he's taken big damage to it. Now, it's not game ending or anything like that just yet. He's well positioned for the Banshee. He does have a third base. He does have a Spire. He's still got good tech for himself. This is not the end of the world, but a good start for Seither. He's got all of the information that he needs, and he's going to go into that 3 barracks, single engineering bay. He'll have missile turrets, lots of Marines out. Very nice reaction from Seither.
I kind of thought from EnDerr, if there wasn't going to be, you know, that many drones in the third base, I mean, he's going to go third base anyway, but if he didn't get a huge round of drones there, I would have thought with that Roach Warren, maybe he makes Seither focus on the Spire and then just gets a big Roach attack up again, you know, just to try and be underhanded. But the Banshee does confirm Mutalisks, and actually quite a few of them, 5 Mutas here, so that's definitely worth getting all your turrets in line and getting a reactor on the factory and respecting the fact that Mutas are a huge threat, because it could easily become 15 Mutas in a few short minutes. So you gotta be very careful here.
No turret guarding the production, so that is the soft spot as well as the depots on the front of the natural, but there is a missile turret in the third, and the transfer, bad timing on that transfer from Seither. He's already lost 5 SCVs. We were talking about the 2-base Muta being something he struggles against in the previous series that they played. And once again, a good start. A couple of Marines already going down. 1 Muta does finally fall, but already a great trade. Even getting both SCVs building the barracks. Seither's got to start to lock things down. He cannot let this damage get out of control.
Great bounce back there from EnDerr as he hits the SCV line of Seither and really, you know, hits back for the earlier drone damage. This is a lovely situation for the Zerg. Obviously, his economy not exactly where he'd love it to be, but he is still piling on the pressure, and as these Mutas continue to grow in size, they become more and more of a threat. Seither absolutely has to respect this. He's not missing a beat with his SCV production, though. On top of his upgrade, he's only got the 1 engineering bay with the second one about to finish, but not missing any production, not missing any beats, still macroing quite well. But again, these Mutas, every time they fly by, they find an angle, they find damage.
Yeah, and it's the production being slowed down that's a big thing. Remember, EnDerr never started his +1 armor yet. He's been so distracted. He's running around chasing his own tail here. Finally, he split some units into his main so he can leave these units out front. But so many SCV kills, and I honestly feel like EnDerr, his economy was not good. It was not great at all, but he's done so much damage. 16 worker kills in total this game. He's now got that worker advantage. He's got his own double upgrades that'll very slowly catch up. He's spreading out his creep. He's going to dive on the missile turret, a ballsy maneuver. Unfortunately for him, just enough Marines down on the third to evict him from the position, but there are treats everywhere for these Mutalisks. They're having a ball.
Yeah, I mean, is this a failure in the defense of Seither or just really good Muta control from EnDerr? He seems to be able to look at the number of Mutas, look at the situation, and make a snap decision within milliseconds that he can make this happen, and he's right. And every time he rolls on in, he finds damage. He's like, oh, this turret, I can kill that. This medevacs, yeah, no worries. The Marines aren't near this. I can deal with this many Marines. Like, he's fighting small clusters of Marines and killing them too. It's been great.
Yeah, well, the production is now up to 2 factories, and I think that's going to be a big advantage now for Seither. If you can get out drilling claws, add a Thor or 2, build a few more mines. We still do not have a mass of Ling Bane or upgrades, and remember, the worker count is dead even, so honestly, I think the big advantage for EnDerr right now is 2 things. It's that Muta control, it's the fact that he's continuing to upgrade them, but it's also his creep spread. If he continues to spread creep behind this, it gives him a very big advantage as this game continues, and he's just finding damage everywhere. Even cancels the command center. EnDerr is all over this game. I actually think Seither needs to break these rocks to the left and just control this high ground in front of his natural, because EnDerr, he can always retreat to this high ground, and oh my god, Seither actually flies a drop right past the Mutas. Cannot believe that got away.
Very, very lucky for Seither, and I mean, this drop actually might catch one of these banelings, yeah. Oh, EnDerr actually moved them out of position, so I don't know if they were scouted in the end there.
Oh, Marines on the right-hand side get caught here. They're going to try and pull back behind the mineral line. The Mutiling Bane jumps on top, though. An amazing engage. Gets a few medevac banelings rolling in the left at the same time. Oh, this is insane. Big.
Really
big
great
mine
Widow
hit.
Mines. Such great Widow Mines there for Seither. Main base has got a turret and a mine combined, so that's going to be some splash damage on that cluster of Mutmuts. That might make EnDerr think twice about diving for the main mineral line. He's going to go for the add-ons instead. Very medevacs in the main base, but Seither losing one of them there.
Yeah, Seither is really in trouble right now. Oh, Baneling's on the third. And EnDerr is just rolling units in from every side. He does not have a big economy advantage, but he has a massive momentum advantage. Seither is running around chasing his tail, and he just needs to find a way to get rid of this pressure and get control of his own 3 bases, because he is in struggle street right now.
I kind of get these 3 barracks from Seither, but I wonder if they're making things worse for him, because his Marines are already having a tough time going from one side of the 3rd base infrastructure to the other side. Oh, we do have a drop on the main base, but it looked like a big shift, you know, set it and forget it. Cute attack there from Seither. It kind of just got gobbled up by the Zerg meat grinder back in the main base. Didn't get a whole lot done there at all. Seither, I mean, strangely enough, still ahead in workers, and his army size still quite decent. He's got +2 attack, didn't get +2 armor, unfortunately. No mech upgrades either for the Thor, but I feel like his army is not too bad here still.
You're absolutely right, Maynard. EnDerr at any point here could have built another 15, 20 drones of 5th base, and I think then it would be almost impossible for him to lose. See, being able to leave his side of the map, but EnDerr, he's still looking for big damage, and he finds a Thor in the medevac. Oh my god, that is disgusting. That is such a huge amount of damage. He walks into some Widow Mines, takes 1 or 2 big shots, but he's just finding so many hot pieces of damage. Comes back in one more time here, and the Mute is picking off Widow Mines. Yes, he loses a few Zerglings, but these are still pretty decent trades. EnDerr, though, still only at 68 workers. I think that's the big thing he's lacking. When you're in this much control, when you're hitting their mineral line, finding pickoffs left, right, and center, it's tempting to double down and really try to finish the game off. But honestly, the defense has been good. Can he continue to hang on? Seither, his Thor, he's going to try to ferry it out of there. Oh, the boost was not ready, and oh man, a lot of SCVs go down. So just when we were doubting EnDerr's aggression, he finds the weak soft spot. Seither losing 17 workers, a whole bunch of the technicality of his army. And look at this, just a gradual expand from EnDerr. A 5th base goes down. He's creeping out a couple drones at a moment. His creep slowly getting out front of the Terran's base. Meanwhile, Seither, I mean, he's got to be losing confidence at this point. All of his Thors are gone. Most of his Widow Mines are gone. His bio, he never knows where it should be on the left or the right. He's just struggling in every regard.
You're just looking for that planetary now where all the mules being dropped. They're going to find a fair bit of damage here. They go for the turret. They don't quite kill it. Seither should be able to save that. There's some Marines coming in, and they're getting overeager there with those mutas.
Oh, he's actually going to engage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of mutalists. That's 25 plus 2 mutas, Maynard. Like, that is not something you can just deal with a few Marines. And it's hit that point now where I think Seither has just taken so much damage over the last period of this game. And, oh, I mean, even the resources loss tab tells the story. The Zerg is actually 3,000 resources more efficient. How often do you see that?
Almost never. The Overseer goes down, so the mutas should probably evacuate. Considering all these Widow Mines! Oh my god, so many mutas died. But does it actually matter, Pig? I mean, that was a really big pick off there. But does it actually matter? I just don't know. Hive is about to finish here for EnDerr. He's still got 70 on SCVs, drones rather. He kills the planetary on the left.
This is EnDerr just showing his class. He's just all over it. The mutas never stop being controlled. At no moment does he just throw all the mutas away. Seither is scrambling to hang on, and he's just not being given any ground. Every single time you think he's about to pull himself up onto that ledge of Terran hope, you see EnDerr just jump in, gleeful, a mad grin on his face, stomping on the handholds that Seither has, and he falls once again into the abyss. He's way behind. He's on 47 SCVs. Yeah, he's got some nice upgrades. Yeah, he's got a half-decent army, but EnDerr has the map, EnDerr has control, and EnDerr is adding on Hive Tech, Adrenal Glands, 3/3 upgrades, 7 more workers are on the way. EnDerr is just swarming over Seither, and he cannot control this.
One last hurrah here for Seither as he tries to hold on that 3rd base. His Marines on 2-2 upgrades here. The Mutas and Lings and Banes not quite strong enough to break this position. Not a great trade there for EnDerr and as the dust settles. Not that many Banelings, but the Marines not being looked at. Oh, still not enough Banelings to crash all the way through. Seither's army bigger than EnDerr's at the moment. And EnDerr, he actually doesn't have much lava at the moment, Pig. He's only got 8. So Seither, I feel like he might have a window here where a counterattack could be a good idea.
EnDerr looks calm, but his play looks a little bit excited. And I think on the Ling Bane front, the engagements haven't been awesome. This is what is leading him to victory, and it's about to again. One Widowmine and a handful of Marines, not enough to deal with that. 28 Mutalisks with +2 attack, fly into the main, and they have a party. This production has been ransacked time and again. The command center even is gone from this main base. Even this many Marines coming in is going to struggle to fight that many Mutalisks. EnDerr has shown he will fight Marines head to head unless you have enough of them. He's not afraid to run away, just picking these off, finds the third base. And it's a game of whack-a-mole, except there's 30 moles and they fly and they kill everything. And Seither doesn't seem to have any answer.
Yeah, it's more like a whack-a-fly. It's the thing just keeps flying around and it won't land, so you can't hit it. I really feel like Seither just needs to go. Like, there's no coming back economically at this point. You've just been hit way too hard. You just got to just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. And I think a big ol' A move from Seither is probably his best chance here. Sitting back and just weathering the storm. I don't know, man.
Oh, Banelings get a few hits, nothing too crazy. I got to agree with you, Maynard. I think maybe if he can wait defensively just for 1 more minute, but he has to be ready so the moment EnDerr fails an attack, he goes across the map. Some Marines do try to pull back. Marauders in the front line, taking a lot of these Baneling hits. Well done by Seither. This is his moment. I think he's got a counterattack, like you said. Gun down a lot of the Ling Bane on the retreat. You don't have a lot of medevac juice. Man, he's got 8 medevacs and no healing. This is actually insane.
He's been stimming like a mad lad. He's really just on the defensive against the Mutas. He's just, he's been playing whack-a-mole with these Mutas, like you mentioned, Pig. He's not winning that battle, the whack-a-mole against the Mutas. He's not winning that battle. He's killed quite a few of them. You know, he's killed 31 Mutalisks in this game, but there's still 21 alive here. Oh, that would have mine.
Oh, big
that's
mine.
A good hit. That's a good hit.
But they do regen, and 15 Mutas are still alive. Their end is still maxed out. Yep. Space Cows, mate. That is the right transition. There's only 10 Marauders to deal with them. Widow Mines do damage to them. Marauders do well against them, but when there's as many Ultras as there are Marauders, that's not very good for the Terran.
Indeed. Couple medevacs going down here for free. Throw on the right side and get some damage done. Seither still just playing whack-a-mole with his Mutt-Mutts. Meanwhile, EnDerr has been gearing up for a big Space Cow attack. He's got his big ground army that just does not care about Widow Mines. It'll take some damage, of course, but that is an army that's hard for Seither to deal with. He's very Marine heavy. He's very stimmed. He doesn't have a whole lot of medevacs left. He does have a good number of Marauders and a bit of a choke point here. So he's going to pull the Space Cows down in this location. But meanwhile, the 4th base got hit really hard, and the Natural is being evacuated thanks to these Mutas.
Yeah, EnDerr's all over it. EnDerr has shown he is the dominant champion of this season. He has defeated everybody. He has smashed his way through the group stages. He has beaten Risky. He's smashed Seither.